Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. For one thing, we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, what up? Talk your truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.
Pull up a seat. You're now in Corey's Corner, where right conversations matter. I'm your host, Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Today on Corey's Corner, we welcome Mr. Demitri McKay Sr., father, husband, and a man whose life journey speaks to growth, redemption, responsibility, and family. Born and raised in Hollis, Queens, Mr. McKay comes from a family whose roots trace back to the Carolinas before settling in Brooklyn and eventually making their way to Queens. He attended August Martin High School. Like many young men trying to find their way, he took a different path. He ran the streets, got into trouble, and even found himself locked up. Mr. McKay's story did not end there. He came home, turned his life around, built a career in the automobile industry, retired as a finance manager, and most importantly, became a provider and protector for his family. Today he joins us not just to talk about his own life, but to honor the life of his son, Demitri McKay Jr., a young man whose life was tragically taken by a stray bullet. Please welcome to Corey's Corner, my friend, Mr. Demitri McKay Sr. Welcome to Corey's Corner, brother.
Thank you, life.
Yeah, man. For the listeners and the viewers, I just want to say this is probably going to be one of the most emotional shows that we've had on Corey's Corner. There's an epidemic in our community, black and brown community, of gun violence. Yes, gun violence is down, but the gun violence, just one person being shot, is too much. And I wanted to bring my brother on the show, Demitri, so you can understand, for the people out there that got kids running around here in gangs, carrying guns, they don't really understand the effect that it has on a family. When you kill somebody, you kill generations of people. You kill the grandparents, you kill the parents, you kill the cousins, you kill the nieces, the nephews, and most importantly, you kill their children. Junior will never, ever, ever see the 8-year-old child again. This is serious. So please, if you're out there and you know that your children are in the streets and they're carrying guns, please talk to them, because the hurt don't go away after the funeral. It lingers. As a matter of fact, the funeral is probably the easiest thing that families have to deal with. It's when everybody's gone that the devastation really touches the family. Before we get into it, I want you to know this episode of Corey's Corner is sponsored by Vodka. Vodka is the world's first premium blend of vodka and tequila infused into one smooth, unforgettable spirit. Whether you're celebrating success or unwinding after a long week, choose the spirit that's defining the game. Please visit vodka.net to learn more. And remember, always drink responsibly. Shout out to Corrupt Mob MC, a brotherhood built on loyalty, respect, and community. More than a motorcycle club. Respect them all. So D, before the tragedy, before the headlines, take us back to Dimitri's childhood. What kind of home did he grow up in?
My son Junior, he grew up in a two-family home. My wife and I, he was the baby.
The baby of four?
Of four. He was the baby out of four children, 2 boys, 2 girls. And, you gotta excuse me, man, this is tough for me.
I understand, brother.
This is very tough for me to even talk about. He, when my wife was having him, I was in the room when she had him, because at that time, we were a young couple at the time, and we had a few kids already.
Right.
And my wife, we were so excited about having Junior, and just to see in the labor room, in the delivery room when he came out,
right.
I was so excited because he came out so fast.
Yeah.
And he was long. He was amazing even when I first saw him.
Wow.
Always a good kid, but you know, he was a sickly child because he had asthma. He had chronic asthma growing up.
Okay.
So my wife and I was always back and forth to the hospital with him.
Nebulizers and all
Nebulizer, you know, they gave him the steroids and all this stuff,
Right.
and you know, but other than that, he grew up. He was always a quiet young man, always quiet, and he never gave no trouble. And my wife had made a promise to God she wasn't going to cut his hair until he was 3 years old. She kept that promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife she's like, you know, that's just who we are. You know,
Right.
we're Christian folk. My wife and I, you know. My son was he was just always good. And I remember I used to ride motorcycles.
Right.
So I think he got at the age of 7. You know, he loved to watch his dad ride motorcycles, and so I went and bought him one. I bought him a gas little mini motorcycle, and you know, I used to ride on the street. He ride on the sidewalk. He took to it so fast. He
Right.
was so smart, and he caught on fast to things. My son, he was super smart.
Right.
Even in school, he was very smart, and just always was a protector of his sisters and his siblings. You know. And he just was a good boy. He never gave me no trouble, ever.
Wow.
I'd never lay. I'm from the old school where
Yeah,
we got beatings, man.
Exactly.
We got
Yeah.
you know, discipline. You know, the scripture talks about that. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Exactly.
And that's where I come from. But I never laid a hand on him. I never had to lay a hand on Demitri Jr. He was just always a good kid. I never even yelled at him before.
Wow.
I
Well, let me
love
ask you, since you said that, what values did your wife and you instill in him as a young boy?
Well, I instilled same values that my mother taught me. You know, don't use drugs, don't get into it. You know, whether they listen or not, you got to instill these things.
Exactly.
You know, we just told them, you know, be respectful to elders. That's what I was brought up on. You know, make sure you clean your room.
Right.
You know, we raised them. You got to work. So the person got to work. We raised them. My kids went to church. They all got baptized. You know, he was baptized. He was a wonderful young man. I had him in the church. You know, as he got older. You know, he was an usher in the church.
Hold on, man. You're trying to take some of my questions.
Oh,
from me.
I'm sorry.
Yo, calm down.
Okay.
You know, my producers work hard to do research here. So as a father, D, what were some of the lessons you made sure your son, Demitri Jr., understood about respect, responsibility, and manhood?
Well, the main lessons I was telling my son, you know, I always told him, man, you know, listen, man, you know, respect is everything. You know, you carry yourself, any relationship that you're in, whether you with your girlfriend, your wife, or you with your male friends, whatever it is, I said respect go all the way. And I always told him, I said, listen, man, respect is a line. Respect is a line. And it should go straight across. Once it start dipping, there's a problem somewhere.
Right.
I always explain that to him and the rest of my children. You know, and I told him, man, I said, listen, a man gotta work. If you want to eat, you gotta work. You gotta work.
Absolutely.
You know.
When you look back at Junior as a child, what early signs did you see that showed he would grow into a loving father, hardworking man, and a peacemaker? I love that you call him a peacemaker.
Oh man, when he got in his teenage years, I just seen a shift. I seen a shift in him that when he was younger, because he's the baby.
Right.
But man, I seen him. You know, his birthday is August 21st.
Okay.
He's a Leo.
Okay.
And then, you know, he went from this little lamb to a lion, a protective lion.
Yeah?
Yeah, he went to a protective lion.
Wow.
And I watched him, and, you know, he went from having this little baby voice. I used to tell him, man, stop talking like Steve Urkel. He used to talk like Steve Urkel, man. And I'm saying, brother.
You know, one day you wake up and you hear them talk, it just changes.
Listen, man, and I got to tell you, look, he used to come to my job all the time. I was in the automobile industry.
Right.
And I used to bring him to work with me sometimes. And, man, that guy, you know, he used to sit at my desk in the office, and he used to talk all the time, man. And he said, I'm the boss. And he used to tell my workers. Before I was a finance manager, I was a sales manager also. You know, I ran the dealership. He was just amazing. I always took him to work with me to let him see what's going on. Let him know, yo, your dad's a boss.
Right.
You know, I let him know. One day he just, I don't know, man. It's just, he used to call me at work, and I hear this baby voice. Dad, you coming home, Daddy? To you, Dad, when you coming home? You know, I'm like, who is this? And I just watched him with the rest of the siblings.
Right.
You know, he didn't play around, even with me in the house. Like if I had to get it out. My daughters is different from my sons. You know.
Right. Of course.
You know, because they're older, and I had to, sometimes I get at me, like, yo, Dad, man, he wanted to talk to me.
Right.
Or me and his mom just getting into it. This is real life.
Right.
I'm not sugarcoating nothing.
Right.
I'm married, but marriage is not perfect.
Right.
But my son, man, he was very, very family oriented guy.
Yeah.
And man, when just to hear his voice, now it got a time where the rest of the family members didn't know if it was me talking or him talking. That's how much his voice changed. It was
he had a deep voice like you,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah, deep voice, and I'm a short guy. I'm not that tall, man. He's 6'2".
Wow.
And he just became this an incredible basketball player. He loved basketball, man. He's an incredible kid, man. Incredible young man, and I can tell you this much, man, and the respect level he got from his peers, his friends. Man, I don't even know where he got all these friends from. All of a sudden, everybody's coming to his house.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I bought a basketball hoop, put it in the yard, man.
That's the worst thing you could have did.
Yeah,
they all
man.
coming over.
Man, they didn't even want to go to the park. I was grateful enough to have a big yard and stuff like that, and I bought the court, man, and him and his friends, man, just to watch him on the way he moved. And,
Right.
Listen, I remember his first job that told him he got to work was to sell water. Same water that you gave me here. These here, I had I bought a cooler for him. It was summertime. I said, man, you want to work? You want money? Come on, let's go. He was young.
Yeah.
He's maybe 9, 10 years old. So I take him on Hollis Avenue and Francis Lewis. And I'm just watching him. I said, well, you go out there and you sell water.
Right.
And so that's with his first lesson on working and manhood. I'm showing him.
Right.
I mean, he didn't do the best job, but go ahead.
Let me ask you. You've helped us understand about where he came from. Now help us understand the man he grew into. Who was he as a father? A hardworking MTA employee. I know he worked for them. A man of faith and a presence in the lives of the people who loved him. You pretty much touched a little bit on all of those aspects. You can expand if you would like.
Yeah, well, he grew into a young man where his faith, let me get on his faith. My son had incredible faith.
Okay.
And sometimes, I'm a deacon in the church, but sometimes
I know. We got to shout the church out.
Yeah, shout out to Mount Olivet Baptist Church of Hollis, Queens, where my pastor's Reverend Dr. Franco Harris. God bless you. I love my church family. They're located at 202-03 Hollis Avenue, St. Albans, New York, 11412. You're all invited. We start church service on Sunday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., 1 hour power. We invite you. God bless you. My son was an usher in the church when he was younger.
Okay.
So he went to church every Sunday, and my children went to church every Sunday. They went to Sunday school. I raised them up. They all got baptized. And I wanted to keep my son out of trouble.
Of course, absolutely.
I was big on that life. I was big on that, man, because of the things that I've been through.
Exactly.
And so I explained to him, man. I told him all about prison. I said, I know, you're growing up, and I know you got your boys here. I said, you see this world outside? This is a different world. You can run around here, and you can fight and probably run and go hide somewhere or do whatever you do. Right. But I said, brother, Junior, inside, when you in there, you can't beat 20 guys.
No, you can't.
At one. You can't do it.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of shook him up Remember that show, Scared Straight?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did to him.
Okay.
Scared, you know.
Scared Straight was out of New Jersey, right?
I'm not
Damn
quite
prison.
sure. I'm not quite sure, but it was a great show.
Yeah, I remember
It was
that.
it was
Absolutely.
a real great show, and I used to watch it all the time. And I said, you know what, my son, that's what I'm gonna do to him, man. So, so I scared him straight, man. And he grew up to this wonderful, wonderful young man where, you know, he went and got another job. He worked at Domino's on Hollis and Francis Lewis.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
my wife and I gave him his first car. He got his license at 17 years old, his driver's license. You know, I tried to teach him how to drive, but my patience is short. And he quit me, and his mother taught him. My wife, Sister Deborah McKay, she's a wonderful woman. She's a wonderful woman, wife, mother, all above. She's a great nurturer, my wife. And she did a wonderful job with my children. She cooked all the time, and that's one thing that I got to congratulate my wife. We've been together a long time, almost 40 years.
Right.
This is not just a Demitri Sr. thing.
Right.
My wife had a big part and big play, and I want to make sure I give her all her credit and accolades because she instilled a lot of things, and she was tough. She's the one that helped him with the homework and all that, so she had a big part in this as well. And so a lot of things that Junior became family-oriented was from my wife as well because she's a very family-oriented person. I ran the street a lot, life.
Right.
I was in the streets.
Yeah.
I went to August Martin High School. I never finished high school.
Yeah.
You know, I went a different route. You know, I came up on 195 in Woodhull.
Okay.
And we had the buildings over there where we was hustling and those are the guys that I came up with.
Right.
You know, and
You know my family, the McGriffs.
oh well, say less.
Yes.
Say less. So we came up in the crazy 80s.
Yeah.
You know, where the money was plentiful and you know, unfortunately, I'm not going to brag about those things because we hurt generations.
Of course,
And,
absolutely.
and that's why I'm in the position now of repentance. You understand? So I'm not going to glorify any of those things about 80s and the drug game because we messed up a lot of people. A lot of brothers and sisters who was in it got killed also. And that's another thing I explained to my son. I told him the truth.
Right.
I told him about the crazy 80s. I explained it so a child could understand. I was explicit when I was explaining to him what was going on back then.
Right.
And I said, man, listen, one thing about your dad, man, I never got on drugs. I seen what it did to my friends.
That's
now, I mean, he sold it. I did. But I was very old school at that time that you don't get high on your own supply. That's where I came from.
Yeah, that's where I
You
came
know,
from.
all right,
You know,
all right.
We came from that. But it's important that we let our kids know the past so that their future, they don't get involved in the stuff
There you go.
that we did. Now, I understand Demitri was an MTA bus driver. I was reading a news article. It said Demitri, the route that passed the church where you served. What did that mean to you knowing your son was serving the city in his own way every day?
Well, I put it to you this way. I had a buddy of mine. I know a lot of people that work for transit, MTA. A lot of the folks I know is either officers, MTA, city workers.
Yeah, city work.
You know, coming up in South Side and North Side, I live both.
Right.
Most of the culture that I come from are blue collar.
Right. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
hardworking blue collar. Although most of my friends and my peers was officers, correction officers, worked for MTA sanitation.
Yeah.
So that and I could never get a sanitation job or a bus driver. For some reason, I took tests before and I passed. Never got called. Wasn't my calling.
Right.
So when my man called me, he said, "Yo, D," he texted me. Matter of fact, tell your son to take this MTA test. Went to him. I said, son, he always listened to everything I told him.
Right.
I said, I want you to take this MTA test, set it up. I pay for the test. And they called him maybe a year later. My son, Junior, Demitri Jr., never told me that they called him. And I've been asking him about it. I said, man, whatever happened to the TA job, man? He said, oh, Dad, I'm just waiting.
Right.
Meanwhile, they didn't call them already.
They called him.
So he's taking he's preparing. They taking him on the test drive on the bus.
Right.
You know, he's training.
Doing training, yeah.
He's
doing
training. And I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know that. So he's been doing this for months. I never knew. So, you know, one day I'm sitting in my car. I'm elsewhere. I'm on Linden and Farmers. I sit in Linden and Farmers every day.
Right.
And I always check my ring. I got the Ring camera.
Right.
As I check the ring, I see a guy coming up my steps in a uniform. And I'm like, who is this guy keep coming to my house in this uniform? Because this is day. So I told my wife, I was like, listen, who's this guy keep coming? You got a technician coming to the house or something?
Yeah.
And she was like, no. She said, when you get home, why don't you talk to your son?
Right.
So when I get home, I said, Junior, there's a guy that's coming here in a uniform. He was like, Dad, man, that's me. I said, what you talking about? He said, man, I work for MTA, and he said, I finished my training and I passed. I said, what? Man, I gave him the biggest hug and the biggest kiss, and he showed me his uniform and all this other stuff, man, and I cried, and I always hugged and kissed my son.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
another thing, man. I'm telling you, all his life, even when he was a grown man.
Me too, man. I
You
do
know,
that to my sons
it's
all the
wonderful,
time.
man.
Yeah.
And, you know, fathers need to do that because our sons, you know, it's a shame that in our culture, brother, life, that a lot of our absent fathers, for whatever reason,
Right.
I won't get into details now, and that's for another time, but for whatever reason, they're just not there. And our incredible black women, our queens, our incredible queens, man, they do an absolute amazing job. And I got to give kudos to all of our black queens. Thank you for raising our little prince, because, and God bless all the fathers that are in their children's lives. It's a wonderful thing, and they need us, you know.
It's funny you said. I always say the strongest creature on earth is a black woman. And the reason I say that, I said, you know, she had to deal with telling her husband, baby, don't get mad. I gotta go. I gotta go have sex with the slave owner.
Man.
They had to snatch the little girl, their daughters, and tell their husband, like, please, baby, because I need you here. Don't do nothing. There's nothing stronger on earth than a black woman.
I'm telling you.
I promise you that.
I'm telling you.
But now let's give me a story about Demitri. You said he was a peacemaker and full of love. Can you share a story that captures that kind of heart he had?
Well, when I say that he's a peacemaker, it's I give you a for instance. We're driving in the car, myself, my wife, Junior's in the back. Junior's in the back seat. We're coming down Liberty Avenue. I think we're on 170 something Street.
Right.
Guy cut me off. I'm hothead. My son, man, he saw me, man, and you know, I'm not saying the nicest things out the window to the guy.
Right.
I'm trying to cut him back off, and I'm wilding. And it could have got ugly.
Yeah.
You know. And my son is like, Dad, what are you doing?
You gotta calm down.
He was like, Dad, calm down, calm down. My son, he's telling the guy, he said, man, this is my son. He's telling the guy, listen, I'm so sorry. He said, I'm so sorry about my dad. He said, I'm sorry. And he was like, man, listen, have a wonderful day, man. He said, it's a mistake, man. I'm like, Junior, what are you talking about, man? Don't apologize to this guy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he just was always a peacemaker in my house.
Yeah.
He don't like all that yelling like his sisters. He went to each and, like, if me and my wife are not getting along, man, he wrote us incredible text messages. And I read one from off the news. I'm not fully prepared to read it now because it's just too emotional for me.
Nah, it's cool.
And he would send my wife texts and send me a text. Both comforting text messages.
Right.
And later on, my wife and I, we didn't know, but she would tell me, she said, Junior sent me a nice text when me and you was angry at it. I said, well, he sent me one too. And I said, yo, let's compare. I want to see if hers was better than mine. And it always was, but, you know, because my son and my wife was very close. They were tight, man.
Mom's boy, nice.
Yeah, his mother, my son dated my wife more than I did. And I can honestly say that.
I love that.
He took her bowling, he took her to dinner, he took her to movies.
I love that.
You know, and And she was also his personal secretary. She ordered all his things for Amazon and stuff.
Yeah.
That Mom, he's always calling. And, you know, for a long time, man, I thought something was wrong with Junior. I said, man, brother, he used to ask my wife, man, questions like, Mom, should I wear a jacket in the morning? Grown man. I said, brother, go outside. He just loved his mom, and he just wanted to talk to his mom. He was an incredible guy.
I love that. I don't mean to switch gears, but let's get into fateful night. Junior's hanging out in Kew Gardens, Queens, at a local establishment with some friends, and eventually somebody comes in, there's shooting, and he gets hit with a stray bullet. You get this call. Your family, yourself, your wife, you get this call. Describe, if you can, bring you back to that night.
Before I get to that, I just want to let you know that my son never wanted to go out anywhere, and his friends know that. He never likes to go out. My son is the type of guy, he come home from work, he stays in his bedroom. He loves to be home. He's comfortable home. He was like my wife. He was a real homebody. He never liked to go out. And I said, why you never like to go out, man? Spread your wings. Because me, I was in bars all my life. That's what I came up. All my peers know me from hanging out in the clubs, the bars.
That's how I know you hanging out.
Right, from hanging out. You know, I'm a former bar owner. I used to own Big Daddy's Cocktail Lounge on Linden and 193rd.
Yeah,
I own, that's the old Chances. You know the Chances? Right.
Big
George. Big George Wallace. I bought it from him. Because, you know, his son and me used to run together. Little George. Little George. Little George. Okay. It's my man Lefty.
Yeah.
And my son never liked to go out. And this particular night he's going out with his lady friend.
Okay.
And I think he went out about 11 something. I got that Ring camera, and I be going back on the Ring the night that he went out, like 11 something. He opened the door, and when I watch it on the Ring, I'm streaming through my phone, son, don't go out. This is after the fact. Wow. I wish I could turn the time back, because he's going out. He don't know he's on the way to his death. Life, my son, Junior, don't know he's on the way to his death, man. And, Jesus Christ. He goes out to this joint, and he's in Kew Gardens and Metropolitan, and he doesn't know what's going on. My son don't like trouble. He doesn't like trouble. He went in with his lady friend, and they was there. I guess they got nice, got a little nice, and he wasn't there long, though. He wasn't there long, and there was people in there already, and I guess something happened before him and his lady friend got there that they didn't know about.
Right.
And it was some rowdy people in there, and they was on social media, and that's what his lady friend said. I'm not sure. My son knows when it get a little rowdy, he's out of there. So as he was getting ready to get up and leave, two assailants walk in with masks and a gun, and they start shooting towards the people they want to shoot. It was unintended target, what they say, what the detectives told me. My son was innocent, bystander, wrong place, wrong time situation. They shot in the direction of the people they wanted. The bullet went in my son's arm, out his arm into his heart, and there he is, he's laying on the floor. And the saddest part is that I wasn't there to protect him, man.
Yeah.
I always protected my son, and I wasn't there, man. I always protected my kids, and he wasn't there, and it's rough. It's rough. It's rough, and I struggle with this every single day. And I know he was a grown man. He was 29 years old. He made a decision to go out. But as a loving father,
right,
Demitri Jr., he bore my name. And I just feel responsible. I can't help. I feel guilty that I wasn't there. And I wish I was there so I could take that bullet for my son. I wish I was dead and my son was here. My son was a good boy. He didn't deserve that. This guy was a peacemaker. Everywhere he went, his friends loved him, and he tried to help them out. He got a best friend that works for the fire department, his friend Vlad. He got a female friend named Simone. That girl come all the way from Massachusetts to see him. She comes to the church once a month. Son, He was a wonderful, wonderful young man, and they blew my son away where it should have been me for the things I've done in my life.
Well,
it's hard, man. It's hard, brother.
I know.
It's hard. It's
But
not easy life.
you know, they say God don't put more on you than you can handle, and you know, I'm a firm believer when your number's called, it's called. We just don't know how it's gonna be. But your son left you a lot of memories, you and your wife and his siblings, and I'm pretty sure that he's the angel watching over y'all now. We're gonna take a quick break. Can you use some tissue, please?
Hi, I'm Tara Wallace. Check out Corey's Corner on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
All right, D, you said that the passing of your son, I'm actually going to call this the murder of your son, because it wasn't a passing. He didn't have cancer. The murder of your son, you just said, I wish it was me instead of you, meaning your son. I guess you prayed on that when it happened. Please take me instead of my child. As a father, what does that pain feel like when you're trying to process the loss of your child?
I tell you, it's the pain is something I don't wish on my worst enemy. It's an unbearable, non-stop agony. And I guess, listen, I can't speak for nobody else.
Right.
But you see my family, my children,
Right.
I'm in love with my children.
Right.
My family means everything to me.
Right.
As much as I was doing on the street, I never left home. Not on purpose.
Right.
Not on purpose. I never left home. I stayed. I've been the man. You understand? My dad didn't raise me. My biological father didn't raise me.
Right.
So I wanted to make that difference. I stayed.
Exactly.
It's an unbearable pain I go to his bedroom every night. See, during the daytime, I could walk around because I cry so hard at night, brother. And you can have empathy for me. And I tell a lot of my peers, thank you. But unless it happened to you, I'm not talking about a sickness.
Right.
When you lose your child tragically,
Right.
it's a whole different thing. When you lose your mother, your father, it's a hurting thing. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But you expect to bury your parents at some time.
Exactly.
But a child life, a child. I go in my son's room every night, and in his room, he has his coat rack, and he got a bunch of coats he got up there. My son, me and his style was totally different. I'm still back in 80s, 90s type of guy. We come from the same era.
So in March, I read an article in the paper that said that you and your wife sometimes go in your son's room and smell the scent of his clothes just to remember him.
We still do it. And I got to tell you, man, it's like he's still in that room. Nothing is moved in that room, and nothing will never be moved in that room. That room is off limits. And I have to smell his clothes just to see him. And he has a hat that he has up there. It's a White Sox hat, and that was his favorite hat.
Yeah.
And I go in there every night, and I put on his hat, man, and I hug his coat. I got the coat from the night he got murdered. He had this jazzy coat with the fur around it. It was, it was still cold out. And,
Right.
man, I hug onto that coat, man, and I cry my heart out. I let it all out so I could walk during the daytime. And then I got to tell you, when I'm in my automobile driving, I ask God to guide the wheel of my automobile because I have breakdowns even during the day because certain things trigger me. If I see a bus driver,
Right.
I was out in Freeport. I went to a gas station and I had bought a brand new car 6 days before my son got murdered. I bought a 2026 Dodge Charger, brand new off the showroom floor. And I bought it on the 18th. On the 24th, my son got murdered.
Right.
He never got to sit in my car. My son drove all my cars. And I didn't get to talk to him because he was working so much. He was working. And my wife tells me, after the fact, she said, Junior really liked that car you bought, man. He said he was thinking about getting him one. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But, you know, I have these things I like to call it episodes.
Yes.
And I have these episodes all the time where I break down. I can't help it. I buried him out in Uniondale. And I go to I was there yesterday. The day the Knicks won, before they won.
Yeah, he was a big Knicks fan.
Listen, man, I buried him in the Knicks hoodie.
Yes.
I buried him in the Knicks hoodie and his Knicks hat. I gave him a wonderful homegoing at my church, Mount Olivet Baptist Church of Hollis. And I want to thank all my members and all the officers at Mount Olivet Baptist Church of Hollis. My church family was there for me.
Right.
And that holds me down, too. And I want to give a big shout out to all my peers from South Side and North Side, from Brooklyn, I got to tell you, I got to give a shout out to the entire New York City.
Right.
Because my community, my village, been there for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen.
And so have you.
Yeah,
listen.
You're a lovable guy, D.
Man.
Big teddy bear, man. You always.
I want to say thank you
guy.
to you, man. Brother, I haven't did no other podcast. Right? Besides the news.
Right.
Channel 7 and Channel 2.
Yeah.
I came to my brother.
That's right.
And because want to know why? I know you're going to do it right.
You know
I know who you are.
Exactly.
I know you're going to do it
and
right.
we're going to get the message out. Like I said, this is about Junior and the devastating loss that the McKay family has endured. So it's 3 months since then. How's the family holding up?
Well, we're holding up. And all we could do is keep his memory. And his son is doing good. He got an 8-year-old son named Cameron, which is a wonderful young man.
How do you explain to the 8-year-old son, your grandson, who has to grow up without his father, that he's never going to see him again? Was you the one that took the lead on that?
No. You know, his mother, we left that up to his mother.
Okay.
You know, she
Understandable.
and certain things, there's a respect that,
Yeah,
you gotta,
understandable.
there's a chain how it goes, and you don't want to jump that line because at the end of the day, she's the mother.
Exactly.
And, I'm a grandparent.
Understood.
And the only thing that I can do is if she lets me on it. Having a grandchild from a son is different from having a grandchild from a daughter. Because, with my daughters, that's on my side. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so on the other side, I got to go pretty much on what they're fit.
I see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
I totally understand.
But his baby mother, we've been corresponding. His son is so smart. He knows what he wants and what he doesn't want. He's a smart young man, and he's a spitting image of my son, Demitri Jr.
Wow.
He's a spitting image. He has the same humbleness, very smart young man. He ride motorcycles too at 8 years old.
And he was riding at 7.
And my son Junior was riding at 7.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do that because he heard about when I told the story that his dad used to ride motorbikes.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that Cameron's going to be able to have a long-lasting legacy and memories of his father. And no child should have to go through that. Yeah. Well, now we have entered the Spitfire round at Corey's Corner. I'm going to ask you 10 rapid-fire questions. You're going to give me, yes, no answers or one-word answers.
Best I can.
Try not to explain too much.
Gotcha.
If you have to, you have to. But this is a fun part of Corey's Corner. You
Okay.
ready?
Ready.
Okay. One word to describe Junior.
Lovable.
What was Junior's greatest gift?
His family.
What made him smile the fastest?
Togetherness with family.
What is one lesson Junior taught you?
Stop being so hot-headed.
Yeah, I remember the car story. Okay. What do you miss hearing him say?
Hey, Pop.
What is one memory that still makes you laugh?
Him doing those silly dances he did. That guy did silly
I saw you posted something up on Instagram.
Yeah,
with him.
man. That guy was a fun guy, man. Very silly.
Yes.
Very silly.
What song, place, or smell reminds you of him immediately?
I got a song by Simply Red, Holding Back the Years, and I posted it the other day. And I got another song by Minnie Rippleton, Back Down Memory Lane.
Okay.
And these songs really touch me when I'm driving. And
Bro, the smell, you know, clothes. You have
his
the
clothes, the clothes, you know, his scent, and his whole room is lit up like that.
Wow. What do you want his son, your grandson, to always know about his father?
That his father loved him, and his father was a great man and was respected by the community.
What message would you give to every young man carrying a gun?
I would say, put your guns down and try to get you a trade. Put your guns down and pick up a trade.
When Junior's name is spoken, what word should come after it?
Greatness.
Thank you for participating in the Spitfire round. Corey's Corner is powered by Story to Tell Productions. If you're serious about starting a podcast or taking your production to the next level, this is the team you need. Reach out to Story to Tell Productions and get it done the right way. Before we move forward, let me take you somewhere for a second. Everything we talk about on this show, power, accountability, loyalty, respect, redemption, it's not just a conversation for me. I've lived it, I earned it, I survived it. I've seen both sides of the system. I walked the streets, I won a badge. I made decisions that changed people's lives. That's why I wrote Once a Cop, The Street, the Law, Two Worlds, One Man. It's not just a book, it's the raw, unfiltered truth about the journey from the corners of Queens, New York, to the high-glass hallways of NYPD headquarters. The pressure, the politics, the purpose, the course. And a documentary, A Cops and Robbers Story. Pulls the curtain back even further. No headlines, no sound bites. Just a human story behind the uniform. Because behind every badge is a man, behind every rank is a story, and behind every story is a choice. Now a word from our sponsors.
This is not your average vodka. This is Vodkila, a decade of cultured excellence. The best of both worlds, the true taste of victory. A delicious dyad spirit, the world's finest blend of vodka and tequila. Vodkila, the perfect blend. From rooftop parties to quiet moments with friends, Vodkila brings the flavor, the fire, and the unforgettable. So pour it, share it, live it. Vodkila. Visit vodkila.net and order yours today.
Junior was not the target. He was an innocent bystander. Clearly, and the detectives even told you that. What goes through your mind when you think about how one reckless act changed your family forever?
I think about pure destruction. I think about pure destruction, and that's pretty much what happened to my family, and devastation. Destruction and devastation.
Police said the suspects fired multiple shots into a crowd. I mean, reckless. It's very reckless. What would you say to young people who carry guns and make decisions in seconds that destroy generations of families?
Well, life, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's not what I so much to say to the children. These guys are young. I want to say it to their parents.
You look right there in that camera.
Parents, young parents, pay attention to your children. You should know at all times where your children is at, your son, your daughter. You should know about what's going on in their life. You are responsible for your child, and your village is supposed to help you raise them, but you're responsible. And that's all I just want to say. I can't say too much to a young person because when I was young, life, I was reckless. Did the report with Channel 7 and Channel 2, CBS. I told them I forgive the young men. And one of the reasons I forgave them is because when I was young, I did dumb things too.
Right.
And you know, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Right, I understand, but well, I mean, I'm on the same level with you. I say all the time on TV interviews that I'm over blaming the kids. The onus got to be on the parents. It's like at some point we got to be like, yo, what?
Right.
You know, my kids was my older kids when they was young. I used to go through their dresser drawers, looking through their drawers, and I would leave $5 in the drawer. So when they come home, they say, money in the drawer, they be like, Daddy went through my
But
drawer
they know
again.
Daddy was there.
But they know
Checking up on
Daddy
him.
was there.
And that's a smart move.
And that's what you have to go to the closets, to the dressers. You got to do that
But
stuff.
that's what my wife and I did.
Yeah, you got to do that stuff. So, CBS reported at the time there was no arrests have been made. Now that it's been 3 months, has anyone, like in the police department, told you that anybody was arrested or being held accountable or they're suspects?
I don't want to get too much into that,
Right.
but there has not been an arrest.
Okay.
There has not been an arrest. And, hey, listen, I've been a street guy all my life.
Right.
There's different ways to find out things, and then I'm letting the police do their best job.
Right. Okay. So what has that process been like for you, waiting without getting any response?
It's I correspond with them. Not that they call me, I call them.
Right. Well, let me put my police hat on for a second because
Gotcha.
you know I was an inspector in police, and I'm not defending them, but and and me and you know, this is not about police stuff. It's about the streets. Whoever knows, they know. If they're not coming, people really think police make miracles, but it's not miracles. We got to go up on cell phones, cameras, electronic in that club, pulling all the cameras, identifying. You said they had masks on, so that's a whole nother thing. Then we got to do a 2-mile radius, look at all of those cameras.
It's not an easy fix. It's not an easy thing because with the mask, these guys clearly were prepared when they came in there.
But just to give you a police secret.
Yeah.
I promise you, they didn't drive. There's somewhere around Metropolitan, they put those masks on. Criminals not the greatest. They're not Einstein. So they probably put that mask on 2 or 3 blocks away. So it's just a matter of time. Police, they have to view all those. So it might be 100 cameras and it's been 3 months. They got to go through all that video. But I promise you, they're going to see them get out the car, put the mask on, and that's when they're going to get the picture.
Well, I put it to you this way. They know who did it. They just need the proof of who did it.
They got to connect the dots. They got to
connect the dots. I'm letting them do their job.
Right.
It's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. I know when my son got murdered, they had that innocent young kid, Jalen Pierre. Sorry.
In the park. Roy
Wilkins Park.
Same thing.
He right after my son got murdered.
It was right after.
Right after
yes.
that happened. I went to the
memorial.
Candlelight.
The memorial.
I went to that at the park, and
that's a little different.
It was a little different. They was
identified.
Identified.
They was right on camera. That happened
the kid, the little baby, the 7-month-old little baby that got killed in Brooklyn.
Yes.
That was around the same time my son got.
Same time.
It was a few things going on. There was an old timer. I forgot his name. It was an older man. He got shot.
Yes.
So there was a few shootings around my son's time.
They was all over.
It was all over.
It was all over.
And unfortunately for my son, these guys wore masks. It's going to take a little bit more time.
You told CPS that you feel sorry for the guys that committed this crime. And why was that important for you to respond with empathy instead of only anger? Because anybody in their right mind, a guy like you, background, where we came from, how we grew up, man, I want him. I'm not playing. I want him now. Just like you said, God, you should have took me. You shouldn't take them. But I'm spending the rest of my life. I'm going to get them. But you changed, and you had empathy. And this is recently after this murder.
It was shortly after. Listen, this is a real show, so I'm going to be real with you.
Absolutely.
The reason why I forgave him, because when I look back over my life, and I remember I was upstate in the prison. I went to a few prisons up north, asking God to forgive me for what I was doing. See, I didn't go to prison, and I didn't get the time that I should have for all the things that I have done. You follow what I'm saying? Sometime in your life, in your life, you don't get away.
That's right.
You don't get away, brother. Mm-hmm. And you're going to pay for everything you've done one way or another. I know even in this time right now, a lot of people is going through so much turmoil going on. Especially at this term of the administration that's running this country, the United States of America. There's so much things going on, and people feel like the evil empire is winning. It may seem like that a little bit, but in the end, God always gets the victory. And I had mercy on those young men because of the things that I know I've done when I was young. I'm a deacon in the church now.
Right.
And I love the word.
You the head deacon.
You
the head deacon?
I'm the chairman of the trustee board.
That's what Toya told me.
I'm the chairman
Because
of the
I
trustee
told her, I
board.
said, he's the head deacon. She says, no, he's the chairman of the trustees board.
I'm the chair.
Okay.
Listen, I went to jail for first-degree armed robbery.
Right.
Listen how ironic this is.
Uh-huh.
They made me the biggest crook since Frank and Jesse James, the chairman of the trustee board of the. No, but I'm just trying to tell you, there's forgiveness.
Right.
Okay. Jesus said, "How can you ask me to forgive you, and you can't forgive your brothers and your sisters?" Listen, this is heavy.
No, it's heavy. And so that's what I was going to ask you next. How did you find the strength to say that you forgave them while you were still grieving?
Because they're young, man. I forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, brother. When Jesus was on the cross, this is my belief. When Jesus was on the cross and he had the two thieves and murderers next to him, you know what Jesus said? You know what he said about all the people that accused him? He said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." The lack of knowledge, brother, would destroy our people. And these young men, if you grow up as a wolf, what do you know? Listen, come on.
Yeah.
So
man.
you was fortunate you got to change your life around. I was fortunate I got to change my and to sit here on Corey's Corner. Listen.
Yo, this is big. You're on Corey's Corner.
Listen.
This is big.
This is
we
heavy.
keep it right now real here.
Listen, this is heavy.
Heavy.
This is heavy, brother. But God is good and he's able. And we all are going to be in the dirt one day. I don't have no fantasy about immortality.
Yeah, neither do I.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to prolong it. Like, we're trying to prolong it for a while. Let me ask you this. Two more questions, and then, we could wrap it up. What do you want justice to look like in this case? Hold on. Not just legally, but emotionally and spiritually for your family.
Justice for me is trying to help save someone else's child. I want to save the children. I want family reform. Family reform back to where the fathers are back in their children's lives, because fathers are so important. Mothers are crucial, but fathers, my daughters and my children always said, Father's Day just passed. One of my daughters wrote me a letter. She said, "Dad, you make everything run smooth." And she said, "Dad, thank you for protecting us." See, that's where my hurt come in, that I wasn't there for Junior. But he was a grown man.
But you wasn't. But don't beat yourself up.
I know that.
You can't beat yourself up. We know if you was there, you would have stepped in front and took that round.
I would have.
I know that.
With no holds barred.
With you being grounded spiritually, as deep as you are in the church, you got to know, like, some things, I mean, they happen. We wish they didn't. You sat here and said, you see Junior on that Ring camera, and the most powerful thing you said on this show was, at that moment, he was walking to his death and didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it.
It was nothing that nobody could do.
Nothing nobody can do it. And most of us, we sitting here now. I don't know what's going to happen when I leave here.
Absolutely.
You know, it's by His grace and mercy. And I just want other families to, I want family reform. And I want to save the children. Our children are, especially our culture.
Right.
You know, I love everybody. And I didn't raise my children with no prejudice.
Right.
I don't care if you're black, white, green.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I want to exploit that about our people.
Right.
We don't raise our children with hatred.
No, we don't.
That's what you know what I love about our culture? You know what I love about our culture?
What?
We don't do that.
Right.
We raise our children. Nobody cares about what color you are.
That's right.
Listen, we don't find that out until we out in the workforce world. Right?
You're right.
You don't really find that out.
We go to integrated schools.
Or you go to integrated schools, but you don't find that out. We as a culture don't do that. The only thing that our culture really want is peace, and we just want a little piece of cornbread, not the whole thing.
Just a slice.
We just want a little piece of cornbread.
Let's give us a slice. And let me ask you, D. When people hear Junior's name, what do you want them to remember most about your son?
I want them to remember he was a part of me. I want them to remember that he was a hard-working man and he was a peaceful man. He was a peaceful man, my son. I want to thank the Queensboro president, Mr. Donovan Richard. He did mention at my son's funeral that he was going to have a street naming after my son.
That's nice.
Which I think was a wonderful gesture. It doesn't bring my son back.
It doesn't.
It doesn't bring my son back, but it's a wonderful gesture.
Yes. Legacy.
Something legacy that my family and his son
exactly
can have. And
we make sure I will be there for that street naming. And we're going to hold Donovan Richards accountable. Donovan was on this show recently. That's my guy.
Right.
But we'll make sure that let's get that done. I think a city council member has to put that in. So I'm pretty sure he's going to work that out. If he said it, he's going to work it out.
Well, he said it in public in front of the whole
congregation.
So I believe his word is his bond.
So D, this has been like a very powerful episode, probably my most, like I said, the most emotional episode since the inception of Corey's Corner. Before we wrap, is there anything you'd like to share that we didn't cover? Anything that you want to share?
I just want to share about my son, Demitri Jr. He just left such an impact on the world. And I just want to say, the impact my son left on the world, because it was international. Not international. It was national. It was national news. It was in every paper, whether you was Indian, Korean, Chinese, because I have been places where I know Chinese people and Korean people. And they said, well, it was in a Chinese newspaper, it was in Korean. So he affected a lot of people. And I just want to know that, my son was a man of honor. My son, Demitri McKay Jr., was a man of honor. He stood tall, 6'2". He worked out, ate right. He took care of himself. But I just want people to know that what legacy do you want to leave this earth? And my son, he set a great example for a lot of the younger generation. But we have to ask ourselves, what legacy that you want to leave before you leave this earth?
That's a powerful testimony. It got my wheels spinning. So I have to think about what legacy I want to leave and write it down, because you got to put this thing down. You got to put it down. When you put it down on paper, it never dies. I want to read an excerpt from the obituary. Junior did not like to hang out as much as a typical young man, but once he left the house, he made a difference, and we didn't know it. But he was walking in service for the Lord. He was known as a good guy to anyone that has ever met him. Junior loved to play basketball with the kids or his friends. He loved to bowl, work out, and watch different movies with family at home. He loved to be funny and make everybody laugh. He did not play about his food. He loved his bunny, Mr. Hoppy, and the Joe Budden podcast. Living a simple life, grateful for every moment, while unknowingly making a significant impact with his words and his presence. Nice testimony from the family. Just wanted to give you a little bit about Junior. May he rest in peace. D, I want to personally thank you for sharing your story and the pain with your family on Corey's Corner and trusting me with making sure that the story is going to be told correctly. You allowed us to see Demitri not only as a headline, not a statistic, and not just another victim of gun violence, but as a son, a father, and most importantly, a man of faith, a hardworking MTA employee, a young man who deeply loved his family and his community. Your strength and your honesty and your willingness to speak through grief is supernatural. That's not even the word on here. It says powerful, but it's supernatural. And your message of forgiveness, accountability, and change is something that every parent, every young person, and every community needs to hear. I mean, you walk in a very, very, very fine line, like maybe a tightrope at the circus for you to, I mean, I have sons, and I can't imagine if somebody if they died tragically like that. And before Junior probably passed away, you probably saying the same thing I said. If somebody did that, I'm killing their whole family. But until it happens and sits in your lap, you never know how you're gonna do it. So I really applaud you. Junior came from good stock. He came from good stock, great stock, as a matter of fact. Thanks again for pulling up on Corey's Corner, for honoring your son with us today. May Junior's memory, Demitri McKay Jr., his love and his legacy continue to live on. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This is another episode of Corey's Corner. It's a very powerful episode. I hope that you get something out of this episode. More importantly, what I want you to get out, I started the show wanting you to understand the pain and horror and torment that a family has to go through losing someone so tragically. But I'm leaving and ending the show more impressed with Demitri McKay Sr. and how he's dealing with this situation and providing and protecting his family. It takes a lot to forgive, especially when it's a major, major tragedy. And I hope y'all share this story. I need this to be my biggest podcast in forms and numbers. Forget about these politicians that I bring on. Forget about all of these, basketball people and all of that. This is the story. This is our neighborhood story. It's happening all over our community in America and probably the world. For our listeners, if you found value in today's episode, please follow, subscribe, and support. This has been another episode of Corey's Corner. Until the next time, keep pushing, keep grinding, and always remember, it's not about where you start, it's always about where you finish. I'm Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Peace.
Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one thing we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, up, talking truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.